The first one I have is called Downtown Flint Transitions, as we ended 2013 and are beginning 2014. So here's Downtown Flint Transitions. 2013 brought changes we saw throughout downtown Flint anyhow. The weather ball got new letters. Genesee Towers from 19 stories to 4 got settled. Now I can see the Capitol Theater more clearly, while the old Flint Journal building saw changes dearly. The old printing distribution building got gutted, but will you go to the new farmers market, Ted? The historic old journal office gets a med school, but what will become up to the old Central and Whittier schools? Genesis opened a new urgent care center and to follow suit, bought and started renovating the old International Institute. I hope 2014 shows more improvements to downtown, like finishing the Capitol Theater's restoration with work so renowned.
Yes.
Now here's one that Ryan asked me to write just a couple of days ago, and it was just updated with the latest news. It's called Social Media, No More Gatekeepers. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, similar media made for me and you. We can now choose the stories to follow, which for the media gatekeepers is a hard pill to swallow. But there are too many traps for some, so keep an open mind and don't fall for propaganda by gum. We can associate with like-minded people for control and block and ban those who say bad things who are trolls. But I wish Facebook would ban those who make threats before we tell the Secret Service so they don't forget. But social media hackers can also get on the boat by labeling the gullible who follow propaganda as goats. But be careful what you post, such as with Dr. King. His daughter complained about doctored photos of him wearing bling. MySpace? What's MySpace? Oh yes, it lost its pace. I just wish that those who are Facebook friends can get together and schmooze together like real friends. Now, last month at Collab Nite, unfortunately, Jenny was unable to be here, so sorry about that, Jenny. So last month's Collab Nite was not recorded. And if you look over there, you'll see some issues of the current broadside, so you can pass them around. Some of you may have read it already, but for the benefit of the video camera, so we can get this Collab Nite online and on Comcast Channel 17 eventually. And I'll go read this again. One thing to note about I mentioned this again, but I'll do this for the benefit of the camera. The centerfold of the current broadside has a new centerfold of the weather ball.
Yes, it is news. Oh yeah. Send me the JPEG. Doesn't look much better with clothes on, though, I don't think.
Now, this is a theme issue. In this issue, you'll read a retelling of the Shakespeare play King Lear in relation to the current state of Flint. So, with that in mind, the piece that's in broadside that I wrote is called Early Theater and Shakespeare in Flint. And it has a nice old article from 1923 about one of the theaters I'm spotlighting, which was torn down to make way for the Flint Journal. I don't know if the image will show up better when I send it to Jenny, but here's the piece called Early Theater and Shakespeare in Flint. The face of English playwright William Shakespeare, who wrote plays in the late 16th and early 17th century, looked down from the proscenium arch above the stage of Flint's very first theater. Fenton Hall was located on the top floor of the three-story Fenton block, which was built by Colonel William Fenton, after whom the city of Fenton was named. Opened on April 9, 1866, it was located at the southeast corner of Saginaw and Kearsley Streets. At the time Fenton Hall opened, Saginaw Street was still a dirt road. Notable performers of the time who graced the stage of Fenton Hall included Edwin Booth, as John Wilkes Booth's brother, Helen Modeska, whose life story is the basis of Susan Sontag's award-winning novel In America, John McCulloch, who in death became the star of theatrical ghost stories throughout the country, Lawrence Barrett, who made a stage debut in Detroit in 1853, and legendary opera singer Emma Abbott. Notable lecturers who also appeared at Fenton Hall included the great agnostic Robert Ingersoll, abolitionist Henry Ward Beecher, the brother of Uncle Tom's Cabin author Harriet Beecher Stowe, and civil rights and feminist icons Susan B. Anthony and Anna Dickinson. Politicians who spoke there included future U.S. Presidents James Garfield and William McKinley. Local talent also graced the stage of the 600-seat Fenton Hall. Fenton Hall saw continuous use for almost 20 years, but the theater's inadequacies prevented it from presenting grander productions. So after several years of wishing, an opera house was built. On July 25, 1883, the cornerstone was laid for what was first called the Music Hall. It was a civic project spearheaded by the Flint Conservatory of Music. The cornerstone laying ceremony was a grand affair, led by Gardner's Flint City Band. Starting at the corner of Saginaw and Union Streets, the procession also included members of Masonic lodges, Oddfellows lodges, the Clio Cornet Band, the Knights Templar, stockholders of the Music Hall, and city officers, followed by ordinary citizens in carriages. The Music Hall opened on December 10, 1883 with the famous opera prima donna Emma Abbott. Tickets for the new 1,200-seat venue's opening performance were auctioned off at Flint's most luxurious hotel at the time, the Collab Nite, later renamed the Bryant House. The successful bidder of the first ticket was William Atwood, who beat out others with a $10 bid, or $232.56 in 2013 dollars. Yet within a decade, budget shortfalls led to the sale of the Music Hall a decade later to local businessman Orrin Stone, born in 1833, died in 1897, who served as Flint's mayor in 1888-1889. After acquiring the Music Hall, he renamed it Stone's Opera House. His partner and manager was Herman A. Thayer, born in 1854, died in 1899, who also operated the short-lived Thayer's Opera House at the corner of East Union Street in Brush Alley in the 1890s. Stone's Opera House was Flint's only quality auditorium for several years, holding high school graduations and official gatherings of many types. First lit by gaslight, Stone's Opera House was later wired for electricity. Shows which played there included Angeline, The Wizard of Oz, The Old Homestead, Streets of New York, Phantasmo, Isle of Space, Faust, and the blockbuster Uncle Tom's Cabin. Performers included Henry Miller, Louis Mann, Robert Edison, James Hackett, and ex-champion boxer John Sullivan. In 1913, the Stone family leased the Opera House to Colonel Walter S. Butterfield, who in 1905 had built Flint's first vaudeville theater, the Bijou, just around the corner. Vaudeville theaters provided live variety shows in which itinerant performers traveled around the country to provide family entertainment in towns large and small. The Bijou only seated 1,092, so the larger Opera House staged more popular performers. After innovations, Stone's Opera House was renamed the Majestic Theater. As Majestic, it hosted such performers as the most famous actress the world has ever known, Sarah Bernhardt, silent film stars Alan Nazimova and Lou Tellegen, and future talkie sensations Al Jolson and the Marx Brothers. As Flint grew, larger and grander theaters were built. The Palace Theater, just a block north of the Majestic Theater, seated 1,348. This left the Majestic with cheaper, less renowned roadshow acts until it went dark in 1921. It was torn down in March 1923 to make room for the Flint Journal's new home. On January 21st, 1889, a few members of the ladies' art class invited their husbands to meet with them at Mrs. Ira H. Wilder's home to organize an evening club of men and women for reading and study of the works of Shakespeare and Shakespearean literature. First nicknamed the Art Club Annex, that was the start of the Flint Shakespeare Club. Initially had around 3 dozen members, including members of Flint's elite. Today, the members still read Shakespeare's plays, one act at a time, 3 plays a year, like it did in 1889. Membership is limited to 40 people who take turns reading plays. A committee chooses the reader. As with most clubs, this club also does normal club business at meetings. Over the years, members of Flint's elite have included members of the club, including Charles Stewart Mott and J. Dallas Stewart. Since 2005, Flint Shakespeare Club member Kay Kelly has been holding Shakespeare in the Park at Courtesy Park. Kelly is the artistic director of the Courtesy Park Players. So whether the works of Shakespeare are performed on stage or in private homes, it seems that even in Flint, the bard is alive and well. So unlike most of Shakespeare's works, I have no tragic ending.